How's it going? Welcome into the den. I'm Tobin. Before I get started with this review, I want to show you what came in the mail yesterday from Patrick Croman, aka the Okie Shaver, who joins me in like October, I think it is, for We Shave. He made that for me and mailed it to me. Thank you, Patrick. I love it. It's made out of like the same kind of material that street signs are made out of. I freaking love this. It is badass. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you. Speaking of We Shave, July 18th, today is the 10th, so a week from tomorrow, sounds right. Chris Williams, aka DE Razor Shaving, here on YouTube, will be joining me for a live shave and chat. We will decide on a time before the end of the weekend. I want to try and give everyone close to a week's heads up. It's been hotter than Hades here in the Pacific Northwest. We have had a heat wave, highs up around 105. Today's actually cooled down into the upper 90s. I promise I'll have an outdoor shave for you guys this weekend. I got this review to do. Pete Hendricks has Chillin' coming. PAA has Crab Apple and Newton. I got a special offer for you guys from Frank at Strike Gold Shave. We'll talk about that in just a second. Real quick, full disclosure, right up front, I did not pay for the soap and splash. They were sent to me for review by Frank and Jerry. Frank at Strike Gold Shave and Jerry Plessy is Shave Dad. This is a Shave Dad collaboration. Shave Dad's 3 Ring Circus. It's a banger. It is a gourmand, in my opinion. I've only watched one other review of this, and that was with Matthew Lawrence. The brush I'm using today, talk about that more in a second, is a gift that Matthew gave me a while back. I've been wanting to use it in a shave, and I kind of thought that it went well. How did it look there in the Shave of the Day photos? To be honest, I haven't taken them yet. I'm just thinking it's going to work. But Matt was the last one who joined me. If you guys don't know him, Matthew Lawrence here on YouTube. I have used this for like a minimum of 5 shaves now, wearing it on the back of my arm. I love it. If you haven't used it yet, Frank just put 4 or 5 sets on his website. Pasteur Pharmacy, last I checked, still had a handful themselves. If you order through Frank, and this offer is only good until the 17th, so 1 week from today. If you order at Strike Gold Shave, anything on his website, CONUS only. Normally he has a free shipping threshold of $50, but for the next week only, he's offered this to me and viewers of my channel. Thank you, Frank. Free shipping on any purchase, CONUS only, at checkout. In the promo code box, put Tobin. Here in a minute, I'm going to share with you guys some of the really cool things that I think you should take a look at. Some things that are discounted to begin with, besides what might already be on your radar. Real quick, let's talk about the scent notes in this and the fragrance itself. Orange, raspberry, red berries, fig, caramel, and vanilla. This absolutely smells like cotton candy. The wife gives it a 10. Emily only gives it a 6. I think it's a little too gourmandy for Emily. My wife can't get enough of it, and that's why if you look closely at my bottle, I've used quite a bit of it already, and that's because I've been wearing it for the wife and using it for the wife. Many of you know I'm a nighttime shaver. It is in the middle of the day today. I didn't shave last night. I worked late, had a crazy day. Maybe talk about that more later in the video if we have time, or maybe in a Rambles, Rants, and Razors video. You never know what people are going to do when you're out there driving a city bus like I do, and I have quite the story to share with you all. But that's not why you're here. So what we're doing today, talking about this fragrance, right? Just add a little bit more water. This is a tallow base if you've never used Frank's base before. I was speaking with him and he said that he upped, that was his word, I believe, a couple of the ingredients in this. So it's still his normal base, but he's modified it a little bit. And this is a creamy, dense, luxurious lather. I freaking love it. I really do. Because of the tallow, the scent of the soap is slightly different than the scent of the splash. That's mostly just right off the tub and when you're whipping it up. Once you actually get it whipped up and you awaken those fragrance oils, and get them agitated, they smell the same. I mean, there is a muted difference, if you will, but it's very small. Very small. If you're familiar with Killian's single malt, I did a review of Old Bush Malt from Murphy McNeil, banger killer set, and then I did a review of 237 from from First Line Shave. Both of those are inspired by Killian's single malt, a delicious, amazing fragrance. If you're familiar with Killian's single malt, Old Bush Malt, or 237, I would put this 3-Ring Circus in the same vein. It's not the exact same fragrance. It's not. This is a extremely well done cotton candy fragrance. It's not a strong fragrance. If we're talking projection, I'm only going to give it a 4. And when it comes to like the scent strength of the cotton candy, it's perfectly balanced. It really is. When I first saw this was going to be cotton candy, I was very intrigued. And part of me was like, oh man, if this is like a candy floss, like a strong kind of cotton candy type thing, kind of like what you find in Baccarat Rouge, if it's like that, it might be too much. But it's extremely well done. And because of the caramel, because of the vanilla, because of the fig, and the berries, the dry down on this is not exactly cotton candy. It's not. It really does lean into the realm of gourmand, where it becomes sweeter. You get this dark richness from the caramel and the vanilla mixing together. This isn't like your typical vanilla, the way that it's working with the caramel and the other ingredients. It does smell like vanilla, but it's not a strong vanilla-ness to it. I highly recommend this one, you guys. I do. If you can get your hands on it, do it. It's probably not exactly what you think it is or is going to be, as it wasn't for me. And again, I've only seen Matthew's review. I think if you haven't seen Matt's, you should check out his if you're considering buying it after watching my review. That way, I always recommend, if you're on the fence with something and you're not a multi-millionaire, getting different people's opinion. This is a one and done, so once Pasteur's is sold out and once Strike Gold Shave is sold out, it's gone and it won't be back. It is a killer fragrance, and I guarantee you that most women are going to love it. I can guarantee it right now, that almost every woman that you have smelled this is going to love it, and they're going to love it on you. And it might even be the kind of thing that they're tempted to steal it. I do believe that there's an EDP of it, and that Frank still has some of those on his website as well. Real quick, before I grab the razors, let's talk about some of the killer deals that Frank has on his website. Some clearance deals, if you will. He has, over here in my notes, fragrances. Fragrances that are regular $37.99 on sale for $7.60. Remember, this free shipping deal is CONUS only, continental United States is what I mean by that, in case you're wondering. And he has this odds and ends tab there on the website, where he has soaps and splashes that are regular $23.99 on sale for $7.20. He has 4 of those black gold dollar razors that are not on sale, but they're $28.50. So that's, free shipping right there. It's a killer freaking deal. Again, this free shipping is only until the 17th. Come the morning of the 18th, the deal for free shipping is gone. There's the Minion brush for $40.50. I still want to buy one of those. Anything else I wrote down that I wanted to tell you guys about on his website? No. And of course, there's the soaps and the splashes and all the other things that you would typically expect. So right here, I have a Gillette Silver Blue loaded in my Mula R89. Over here, I have the Edwin Jagger with a Gillette Silver Blue loaded in it. So we're doing the DE89 from Edwin Jagger versus the Mula R89 from Mula. Both have a first use Gillette Silver Blue. I absolutely love Gillette Silver Blues. I have hundreds of them. Stocked up on them years ago, and I stocked up on them not too long ago again. With a little luck, I'll never run out of the Russian-made Silver Blues. The razor heads are not the same. If you didn't see my video about that, I'll put a link to it in the description. The blade gap on the Mula R89 is 0.018 of an inch. The Edwin Jagger DE89 is more efficient with a 0.028 of an inch blade gap. The exposure and the angle are very similar, but they are slightly different. They are not made in the same facility. Edwin Jagger makes their razor, and Mula makes its razor in its factory in Germany. I'm trying really hard to get the word aggressive out of my shaving vocabulary. I really feel like that is a word that is overused in this community, and not in a good way, just like how in my videos I say too much, and how Valley girls say like all the time. The word aggressive is something that's like ready to attack, to cause harm. The word efficient is something, I wrote this down, descriptions up there, maximum productivity, performing or functioning in the best manner with the least time and effort. The word aggressive does not really apply to razors, in my opinion. Me hitting you with a razor, that would be an aggressive razor. A razor that shaves better than the Edwin Jagger is more efficient than the Mula R89. It is not more aggressive. The only way that the Mula would be less aggressive than the 89 is if I was hitting you with the 89 as opposed to hitting you with the R89. So I'm going to really try and get that out of my vocabulary. A couple years ago, Geo Fatboy talked about it in a video of his, and I've been trying to get it out of my vocabulary ever since. I'm going to try and double down on those efforts. Here in a second, I'm going to show you guys something that I've shared with the channel before, a way that if you don't have an OEM gauge like I do, which mine is right here, OEM feeler gauge. A lot of times people use them for measuring spark plugs and things like that. In this community, we use them for measuring blade gap. And a razor's efficiency, as most of us know, is determined by three things: the trifecta, the angle, the exposure, and the blade gap. I try and keep it simple and mostly just focus on blade gap, because I believe that at the end of the day, that is the one thing that is most critical to determining blade gap. I mean, you can have a steep angle, but if the gap is extremely small, it's not going to be that efficient. You can have a shallow, you can have a steep angle with a small gap, and it's still going to be not very efficient. But if you have a shallow angle and a gigantic gap, you're going to have an efficient razor. And I believe that that same analogy can be applied with exposure, that you can have a lot of exposure, but if you have a really small gap, it's not really going to matter. Or you can have a lot of exposure and a giant gap. And for me, the most important factor out of the three things is the gap. Yes, all three are important and all three play a role, but in my opinion, the most important factor in the equation is the gap. That's my opinion. You might totally disagree, but in my experience, that's what it's about. So what I'm going to do here, and we'll do it on the third pass, is something that I've done for years to determine whether or not a razor or even a blade is more efficient than another razor or blade. For example, I do this with Gillette Techs as well. But a great example right here, I have two Mercurs. These are what, the 38C, is that right? The long handle one. It's basically the 34C, but with the long handle. And you know, I got a bunch of other razors that I do this with too, from Gillette Super Speeds to Gillette Techs and Rockwell and blah blah blah, right? But so I do this kind of test with blades, but using the exact same razor. So I could put like a feather in this one, and then a derby in this one, right? You dig? But for this here, what we're gonna do, make sure I got this nice and ready to go. All right, so we're gonna continue as we have been doing, right? Shut off this fan over here. All right, so third pass. I'm not gonna puff my cheeks or anything, just gonna, here, let's not even tighten the skin either, right? Okay, so can you hear the feedback? I can feel it. I hope that you can hear it. I said I wasn't going to tighten. Okay, so there's that. Let's set that down. Get my bowl over here, and I didn't say there's a mirror directly below you. Not going to tighten. Okay, so just used the R89 Formula on the left, all three passes. And I've now used, I said I wasn't going to tighten. I've now used the Edwin Jagger on the right side, all three passes. So super quick. Now we're just going to switch sides, do everything like I just did on the third pass. We're going to listen for feedback, and of course I will be able to feel feedback. So we'll take the Mula and we're going to move it over to the right side. So here goes the Mula R89. What we should find is that there's no feedback and that I don't really feel it shaving. I was about to stretch again. Okay, a little bit. Really nothing going on down here. There I go again. Old habits die hard. Okay, now we'll take the Edwin Jagger DE89 and put it on the left side where the Mula has been, and we should hear a lot more feedback than what we just did over here. So hard not to stretch. Hear that? I can feel it. So you guys let me know if you have done that, if you feel like it's not scientific, other than measuring I don't know of any other real way of doing it. That's my favorite way of measuring this kind of stuff. And like I said, I do it with blades by using the exact same razor. So if you have that, one of the cheapest ways to do it, like if you can't afford it, get 2 Gillette Techs. And if you don't have any Gillette Techs, I got a couple old beat up ones that I'll happily send you, but Gillette Techs, you can find them all over the place for $5, $10, $15. As long as they're, straight, not smashed or anything, and they're from the same era, you should do all right. And if you have any questions about, your text, shoot me a message and ask. I'm gonna go rinse real quick. I got a bunch of old vintage razors that I'm gonna be giving away as part of my membership giveaway. If you haven't checked out the membership or you missed me talk about that, I have the brush fund that I'm doing. And once a quarter, I'm gonna give away a brush to the members of the brush fund. The brush fund's $1.99. The first brush we're giving away is my Umo. I don't know what I did with it. My Umo ST1 regular density that is in the black chubby handle. This guy right here. Haven't quite decided yet which first razor I'm going to give away for the razor fund. That's $4.99 a month. And I got other stuff that I'll be talking to you guys about with both of those coming up in a Rambles, Rants, and Razors video. Don't forget what did I do with my little doohickey? 1 second. Found my doohickey. Witch Hazel. Galactic Witch Hazel from Phoenix Arts and Accoutrements. They're out of the spray bottles. And Doug had no idea that he was out until I contacted him like a month ago, whenever it was. So I'm hoping that they've gotten them by now. I'm really liking the spray application of it. Wish more splashes had a spray bottle. So don't forget the free shipping at Strike Gold Shave until the 17th. This is a cotton candy gourmand. It does smell like cotton candy, especially in the top notes, and you got to shake it really well, just like I think Matthew Lawrence talked about. I think it has something to do with the way that Frank did the skin foods that are in this. But the alcohol smell goes away super fast, and the more that you use of it, the easier it is to disperse that and to get it to, what's the word, not emulsify. They put, is it emulsify? They put emollients in it, right, to keep things together so it doesn't separate. Whatever. You know what I mean, right? I don't know what I mean. I'm glad you know what I mean, Vern. You know what I mean, Vern? Regardless, it is good stuff, Maynard. It is damn good stuff. The wife freaking loves it. Oh, it is a cotton candy fragrance for the first 20-30 minutes. And then from there, it blends into this, something that is still reminiscent of cotton candy. It is. It's still, it will always remind you of cotton candy throughout the entire dry down. But as you get into the dry down, and it lasts all day, I wore it again to work yesterday on the back of my right hand all day. And even after 8 or 10 hours, I could still smell it on there. It becomes more of a caramely vanilla gourmand that reminds me of Killian's single malt. It is fantastic. It really is. And yes, it is wearable. It absolutely is wearable. Would I wear it out into the blistering heat and call it a hot weather fragrance? No, I would not. I would not call any gourmand that I can think of offhand as a hot weather fragrance. But dude, you guys, it is. It's a banger. It is a cotton candy gourmand, unlike anything else in your den. Yes, I said it smells like Killian's single malt. It is similar to take Killian's single malt, 237 from First Line, or Old Bush malt from Murphy & McNeil. Put a cotton candy twist on it. Throw in a little bit more of a fig note, a little bit more of the the raspberry and everything else that's going on. The only thing that I can think of, though, that it reminded me of was that. And that's like the best way that if you're familiar with those two fragrances, or that one fragrance really, and if you like it, dude, I'm telling you, it's good. It really is. It's good stuff, Maynard. I freaking love it. The Galactic Aloe Vera, I got it in the fridge. I meant to grab it a second ago, then I forgot when I went and, rinsed out, lost my doohickey and all that. So this is aloe vera in the Galactic Aloe Vera bottle from Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements. Thank you, Frank. I will not earn a dime from your purchase on Strike Gold Shave. Free shipping until the 17th on any and all orders. The threshold is normally $50. That is something that Frank offered up to me. Him and Jerry, I don't know whose idea it was. Originally, Jerry mentioned it, and then Frank kind of, drove it home. Super freaking cool. I can't say thank you enough for that. That is so fantastic, and it makes me want to try and get that offer for you guys more often. I'm an influencer, right? That dirty word. So let's influence more free shipping opportunities. I love the idea of this. Hopefully you guys take advantage of it, and maybe it's something we can get Frank to do again in the future. Let's get a little big things. That is a big ass sign, a big little thing right there, my friends. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you guys if you're still here and watching. I appreciate you. The 2K subscriber giveaway just continues to grow. I can't freaking believe it. If you're still watching, Moon Soaps is pitched in. Of course, PAA is pitched in. I'm trying to think of any new ones since I last mentioned. I don't know. We'll talk about it more, though, in an upcoming Rambles, Rants, and Razors video. It's the little big things that I already say that. Okay, well, don't grow old and don't, get scatterbrained and don't do drugs. Just say no. Take care, guys. See you next time.